searching for suspects as well as a motive in those murders. Police in Sandy Springs have arrested a suspect in a deadly hit and run there. Wilfredo Santos Serrano was picked up early this morning. Police say he was behind the wheel of the car that crashed into Michael's Car Wash yesterday, killing a 41-year-old man who was inside the business. He allegedly then ran from the scene, leaving his car behind. Santos Serrano has now been charged with felony hit and run and first-degree vehicular homicide. All right, coming up next, names, social security numbers, home addresses posted online for anyone to see. Most disturbing of all, the information is posted on a state-run website. Up next, we're getting answers about what's behind this privacy breach. And Boston still digging out from a record-setting fourth winter storm. How much snow has been dumped on that city so far this month? Stay with us.
11 Alive at 5, coming March 2nd.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, recently it seems like it's been another day, another security breach. Identity thieves are getting better at finding ways to hack into your personal information. And tonight, the 11 Alive investigators uncover a state-run website with a major security flaw. Hundreds of social security numbers exposed online.
We were surprised to find such easy and public access to so many social security numbers. But our bigger surprise came when we were told initially by those who run the website that they had no plans to fix it. We came delivering the news.
Hi, are you Willie Shepard?
One of them.
The news few expected to hear.
That's your social security number?
Yeah, I think so.
Hundreds of Georgians with their confidential information available on a public website.
Once these are exposed, they are extraordinarily useful for the bad guys.
But we're not here to expose those numbers.
The social security number should not be given to basically anyone.
We're here to expose the problem. These numbers are on a website run by the state.
State website published a bunch of people's social security numbers.
A tipster who often uses the website alerted us to a massive privacy breach and pointed us here to the public site where hundreds of social security numbers were posted.
It's a massive exposure.
And a massive oversight by the Georgia Clerks Authority, a group formed by the General Assembly. Their website hosts public court documents from across the state of Georgia.
You're actually one of the ones who has your social posted online on a public website.
Because of a lack of redactions from a section in 2005, we could see hundreds of social security numbers, complete with full names and home addresses.
Is that your? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We showed her this document that listed her social security number. It took just a minute for fear to set in.
This can hurt people. This really can, especially these days with people stealing.
A spokesperson for the authority told us by phone that they were aware of the exposed numbers and that it happened because the group didn't start redacting all of their documents until 2006.
They really need to take this down because this is not good at all.
No, it's not, but we were told by the spokesperson it would be too expensive to go back and redact them, so there were no plans to fix the problem.
I'm Katie Beck. I'm from 11 Alive.
We wanted to be sure we got that statement right.
I can't get anybody to give me a straight answer here.
Well, I think the answer he gave you was the straight answer. So.
That it's too costly to repair this issue.
Whatever he told you yesterday, I wasn't privy to that conversation. Whatever he told you yesterday is what you need to discuss.
So we decided to discuss it with State Senator John Albers.
This is of critical importance. This is people's private and confidential information.
Who took it very seriously.
That should be setting off alarms, bells and whistles immediately, and we should fix it and pretty much drop just about anything to protect that.
Albers wasted no time demanding an immediate fix.
And it needs to be done ASAP. This is critically important, and we need to protect people's information.
After several calls from Senator Albers over several days, we were informed that the online exposure had in fact been fixed. The several hundred documents exposing social security numbers have now been removed from the website until they can be properly redacted. Katie Beck, 11 Alive News.
Well, that winter weather headed towards northern Georgia. The warnings and advisories stretching from North Georgia to metro Atlanta. Let's check in now with Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb.
And here's another look at the winter storm warning in effect for North Georgia in these counties that you see here in white. We went over this at the top of the newscast here. The main impacts in North Georgia and Northeast Georgia will be the potential for snow, sleet accumulations around 1 inch, and then ice accumulations possible around 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch. And then also in the metro area, area here, right along I-20 on the west side, that line to the north, and along the I-85 corridor. These counties that you see here in purple, that's where we have the winter weather advisory in effect. This starts at 7 o'clock in the morning on Monday and will end at 7 o'clock on Tuesday. The main impacts in these counties will be trace amounts of sleet or freezing rain. Could have some slick spots on some elevated surfaces as this moisture is going to be moving into our area. So far, we have seen just clouds that have been moving in. The air is still very dry at the surface, but just out to the west, this is the moisture that's moving our way. And it's moving into parts of Mississippi right now, about to get into Alabama in the form of rain there, heavier rain in Louisiana, back into Texas. But as you get a little closer in, you can see over Arkansas now, we've got that mix on the northern part of the state, and into Missouri, that's where we have some snow. Some of that is now moving into Tennessee. You see us here in Atlanta, that's where we are. It's going to take this moisture a while until it gets here. Before it gets here, the temperatures have been cooling down. Right now, we're just above freezing in Atlanta at 33, below freezing north of I-20, and still above freezing south of I-20. So the cold air is in place, and these temperatures are going to continue falling during the overnight hours. It's just going to be that when the moisture finally makes it here, our temperatures will be above the freezing mark in Atlanta. But we do have some areas that we have to watch. We've got the clouds early in the morning. Here comes this moisture in northwest Georgia around 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, and the onset of this precip is when temperatures are going to be rising above the freezing mark, so could have some brief mixing as this first mixes in. The main area that we're going to be watching is this cold, shallow layer of air here in northeast Georgia. As the moisture comes in and hits that, it's going to be northeast Georgia where you see these pink colors, where we're going to see the sleet, freezing rain, and even some snow coming in. But for the rest of the day, as this rain comes into Atlanta, temperatures are going to be in the lower 40, so it's going to be all rain as this comes into our area. But my main concerns are up in northeast Georgia with this moisture coming in there, hitting that cold layer of air. Also on Tuesday morning, as this rain moves out, it's not going to have time to dry up. So we can see some slick spots developing on Tuesday morning too, with any water that's left behind on the roads could develop those slick spots on Tuesday morning. And then Wednesday, Tuesday night into Wednesday, some of these clouds lingering could shake out a couple of flurries early on Wednesday. The snow forecast, not that impressive. We do have the potential for some accumulating snow in northeast Georgia through parts of Rabun County, Habersham County, White County, and also into Dawson County. A little bit of that over into parts of Murray County and Fannin County too. This is the one that concerns me a little bit more though, the ice accumulation map for mainly northeast Georgia. Some of these lighter accumulations as far south as Hall County, northern Forsyth County, but then up in these higher elevations is where we're going to see some of those little more impressive ice totals there that could weight down on some tree limbs and bring down some trees and possibly some power outages there. So here's a review of the storm timing. Monday morning, most areas are going to be dry. We're going to see the rain approaching during the mid-morning hours. In the afternoon, mainly rain in the metro area and then mixing in North Georgia and Northeast Georgia. And then Tuesday morning, watching for some slick spots due to any rain that was left behind, with temperatures moving down to the freezing mark, could cause some of that stuff to freeze up. Slight chance of a couple of flurries left over in North Georgia on Wednesday morning with highs near 41 degrees, and then a blast of cold air comes in on Thursday and also on Friday with temperatures that go down into the teens Thursday and Friday morning, but it's going to be dry when it's that cold. We'll just get above freezing Thursday afternoon, and then Friday we're up to 36, and then by next weekend a 30% chance for showers both days. By the time that moisture moves back in, temperatures will be above freezing though, 49 on Saturday, then 53 on Sunday. Now, as we look beyond our 7-day outlook with our 11-day look ahead, these are the three main things we're watching into next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. More rain moves in. Temperatures will stay chilly, generally in the 40s. And then by the end of the month, we're looking at another big chill that's going to be moving our way. But in the meantime, we're keeping a close eye on this moisture, mixing in with that cold air on Monday and ending on Tuesday, then getting really cold Thursday and Friday with more showers in here by the weekend. Be sure to tune in early tomorrow morning, beginning at 4 o'clock. Chesley McNeil, Tracy Humphrey, going to be teaming up with your weather coverage.
All right, thank you for that, Chris. And while we're preparing for a snowstorm, New England is digging out of yet another one. Snowfall totals there topping out near 2 feet. Enough weight to crush the roof of this carpet store in eastern New Hampshire. Along with the snow, the front packed some bitterly cold temperatures, winds approaching hurricane force. As the fourth big storm in a matter of weeks, Boston has now had nearly 90 inches of snow, one of the top 3 worst winters in that city's history.
Not making records, we're just breaking them. You know, with all this snow,
Nowhere to put it.
there's nowhere to put it.
3,000 pieces of equipment are now waging all-out war against those mountains of snow, and the next big storm is already forming in the Rockies and taking aim at the East Coast. Well, if you're waiting to the final minute to sign up for health care coverage at healthcare.gov, you are almost out of time. The official deadline is 2:59 a.m. Monday morning, which is just before midnight on the left coast. The White House says a glitch that prevented people from signing up yesterday has now been fixed. If you're eligible for a plan and don't get covered, you could face a very stiff tax penalty. All right, the Atlanta Hawks put on a show for the rest of the country in the All-Star Game. David is up next with sports. Stay with us.
Washington. A historic first half leads to proper benefits. The Hawks beyond well represented at the NBA All-Star Game. 4 players, and then he had Mike Budenholzer and his entire coaching staff in charge of the East. So it had to happen. Get them all on the floor at the same time. No letdown. The appropriate theater transpiring. Korver, Millsap, Teague, and Horford all on the court at once. Defense frowned upon in this get-together, but Jeff Teague plays by his own rules, 2 of his 14. Paul Millsap had 5, could have been 7. He missed a dunk. That one not pictured. Speaking of dunks, watch Al Horford coming in hot right before the horn. Game tied at 122 entering the fourth. Kyle Korver, 7 3-pointers. He had 21 points, but the West wins 163-158. The 321 combined points, a new All-Star Game record. Post-game, Coach Bud on getting all his guys out there together.
There's not much of a playbook in an All-Star game, but there for a couple minutes, it looked like they were the ball moved, and a couple of them got to touch it, and but no, there's no playbook to really open up or keep closed in an All-Star game.
Well, it's a great time for NASCAR. We are exactly 1 week away from the Daytona 500, 2 weeks away from the race at AMS, and the perfect storyline, it's a brewing. Today, Jeff Gordon, who has already announced he's in his final year of racing full-time. He took the pole for the Great American Race. It was the first group qualifying in Daytona history, by the way. Now, Gordon is going to be joined by Jimmy Johnson on the front row. 11 Alive Sports, we will be down there to chronicle the race. Cannot wait to see how this one plays out. We like to cover a lot of sports here, but there's one sweeping the area that you haven't seen highlights of yet. Fred Khalil heads to Peachtree City to investigate the newest craze, pickleball.
The game we're watching is part tennis, part ping pong, part badminton. It's pickleball, played with a wiffle ball and a ping pong type racket. And here in Peachtree City, the sport has hit a growth spurt.
100 days ago, there was nobody. We have over 63 already and growing fantastically, and they can't believe it.
That's Joel Kinsman, the appointed ambassador of pickleball. The scoring is simple. First to 11 win by 2. You can play singles or doubles, which attracts a wide variety of players from a wide variety of age groups.
I had played tennis in high school, but I was no longer able to because I have knee problems. So I thought it'd be a good way to get my husband and I out of the house.
It's a great way to stay in shape. For Pat Cardinelli, it means much more.
It helps me. I have Parkinson's disease, so I have to. Flexibility is a big issue. So the moving around, the sweating, the staying loose really helps a lot.
Washington State Congressman Joel Pritchard founded the sport in 1965 in his backyard.
His kids were born. They were bored, had nothing to do, so he cut down some nets because they were too small to play. He lowered it for them, and they started banging the ball. They had a Cocker Spaniel named Pickle. Pickle's chasing the ball, so they're yelling, pickle, ball, pickle, ball.
Pickleball. It's kind of a big deal.
I've been playing pickleball now for 3 weeks, and I just relish the game.
Really? I think we'll end on that. In Peachtree City, Fred Khalil, 11 Alive News.
You can't go wrong with puns. Puns are great, especially from Freddie. Women's basketball scored a pass along. Georgia Tech, they lose to Miami 64-59. More news after this.
It's Empire to
Swing the Bears, yeah, that's a ticket. You look marvelous. Yo, Sully, that's wicked. The nerds, the bees, and Tooters on the pedal. Razammer, Dana, Dana. Well, isn't that special? It's live from New York. It's Saturday night.
Yeah, and that was just one of the big moments from tonight's epic celebrations of 40 years of Saturday Night Live. The 3.5-hour special featured dozens of guest stars, the return of classic sketches, and a look back at the history of the show over the decades. You know, I'm old enough to remember when George Carlin debuted on the show.
And we were all working tonight and we missed it. The Twitterverse was going crazy about that show tonight, so I can't wait to look at it.
Recorded it.
Somehow, I know, find it somehow. But we've been busy talking about this weather, and you can see what's happening out there right now, where we've got cold air in place, moisture coming in tomorrow. When the moisture gets to Atlanta, temperatures will be above freezing. Concerned a little bit more about northeast Georgia with some icing there possible. Moisture moves out on Tuesday, some icing possible early Tuesday morning again, and then really cold Thursday and Friday down into the teens, but it's going to be dry. Then showers arriving for the weekend when it gets a little warmer.
All right, thank you, Chris and David, and as always, thank you. Chesley's on at 4 with the latest on the storm. See you later.